Why it's always a French developer who makes the most horrendous point-and-click games? Araknie here managed to finish Gobliins 2, the Prince Buffoon, and he doesn't know how. Yeah, this is an adventure, once for a lifetime of pain. It's not worse than the 007 title that Delphine Software made. I don't see how that game will ever get beat in terribleness, but they sure tried. Here we got another title from Cocktail Vision, but not as the same quality of The Prophecy. Not much quality at all here. I wanted to play the first Gobliins game, but I found myself struggling. You can die in that, and that's fine, if I could save when I want. Don't have both dying from red herring puzzles and passwords upon level completion. Already I don't like passwords in computer games, sounds very console-like. The reason why I also skip the Inca duology of games. Oh wait, another Cocktail Vision series. Would you look at that? Yeah, you're never gonna see them as reviews. All published by Sierra Online. They really knew how to get them. Computer means saving when I want to me. Take it or leave it. So, what's the story here? Fortunately not connected to the first game from what I can tell. Or at least it starts from a point completely understandable. I had no problems there since I don't know anything about the first game aside from trying the first level. So here basically you have your necessary intro. Tries to be quite humorous, has some moments, but it's very plain. The son of the king, called the Prince Buffoon, has been kidnapped. You gotta find him. End of the story. You'll get to various places for that. First the castle village, then underwater. There's a bunch of passages in between and after, but you'll get to see them in order. Because it's another one of those adventures that lock your progress. You get a scene or a series of them, you solve the riddle and you can only go forward. Exploration is not this dev's strong suit now, is it? I would be fine with that if anything else was good, but there's little to like about this game. At least gameplay-wise. It's a puzzle title, heavy on the puzzle and low on the hints. What can I tell more? You're gonna be stuck on this. I played this for the first time for this review and I got stuck 1 hour and 30 minutes, maybe more, on a single screen trying to understand what to do and messing about with various things, because nothing was coming to mind and the game didn't want to help at all. This place was absolute pain to me. Yeah, there's 2 big problems that this game has. The first involves not getting any hint for about 95% of the time. It's great playing a game like this having to do trial and error all the time. Sorry, I mean it sucks gigantic turds. Trial and error is terrible game design for most genres in gaming. Adventures are certainly one of them. The few times we have any dialogue or visual hints to make our brain juices flow, it felt like a blessing. It still might have been hard, but at least it meant we had something to think about and work with. That's the good stuff. Too bad it happens for 3 or 4 times in the entirety of Gobliins too. Oh, and the other problem is not worse, but it's certainly weird. Most puzzles, not all of them, are timed for whatever reason. Since you control 2 goblins, they decided that it should revolve around them almost all the time. I'm not kidding when I say that 9 puzzles every 10 you're getting into some time shenanigans. What you don't get is how many steps you need each time for all the elements to go into place. It will start quite simple but quickly ramp it up, even by area number 2. I tired of it by the end of area 3. And there was still another 4 of them for a total of 7. This is just too many time puzzles for anybody's taste. They needed to justify having 2 characters and managing to control them fast just by clicking the left mouse button on each one of them, but it still was too much. Surely it demonstrates an impressive engine capability that all this happens in real time, but why go so overboard? I know a couple friends that will never play this because they can tolerate such types of interactions, but only in small doses. I would have been completely fine with a 50 or even 60% presence of them compared to classical point-and-click gameplay. Maybe it would have allowed them to put more natural visual elements that help you figure out what to do, or some written text for the same effect. It still would have been an innovative game in the genre without feeling so alienating, tiring and repetitive. What do you think time puzzles mean after all? Yeah, it's dicey trial and error and frustration because you're seeing all the animations play out but you're not understanding what you're doing so wrong. And there are plenty of animations. I gotta commend them for this. The visual style is just incredibly appealing, and while most screens are pretty static, there are reactions and actions for almost every interaction. A lot of them feature even differing results depending on the goober you're controlling. This not only happens for scenery but also the characters. Not only trying different things with the both of them yields different results, also the dialogue is different depending on who of them is talking with your encounters. Here I find the only blemish of the technical department, even if it's tied to the writing pretty heavily. It seems they have rewrote last minute surely most of the dialogue lines before recording. The text says sometimes things that are quite offensive, since one of your imps is nice, but the other is evil. That last one has some truly heinous stuff written for him, to the point where I can show some of the things he says, just terrible. I suggest, if you play it for yourself, to consult the manual. I'm sure you can turn text off and hear only the better version of the script. I couldn't because for review purposes I always show the full breadth of what a game is. Wouldn't be fair otherwise. But I was saying that I love the locations. That's because the coloring is rich and powerful, sometimes dreamlike, sometimes grounded. It truly feels like you're traveling through an entire kingdom, and for that I appreciated it. I would have loved to have an entire world explorable freely in the style of Sierra of Lucas games, because I also found the music quite impressive for a lesser production. Finally, another adventure game that manages to accompany you with melodies for most of its runtime. That was a neat surprise, and it's great quality and representative of the game and the places. The music for the mushroom hallucination in particular was extremely oniric and relaxing. A bit too much. I'm trying to do some brain teasers, and I was having difficulty concentrating and not yawning sometimes. Sorry. I love the soundscapes, and I mean it in a broader sense this time. There was also some ambient sound even when lacking a soundtrack. They gave a bit of depth to locations that really needed it, even if 1992 wasn't a year where that was all too common an idea. On the contrary, this was a massive rarity. What I feel as a vote regarding Gobliins 2 The Prince Buffoon is a 4 out of 10. I gotta admit that if the puzzle didn't have those two problems, this would have been a masterpiece. But we don't live in that reality now, do we? If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see? Until next time, ciao ciao!